You clawed your way up here, didn't you? Not walking, not running, dragging yourself through the dirt and the dark because something inside you refused to die. You didn't come for applause or comfort. You came because you were done being silent, done being small. But here's the truth, and you'd better hold on to it. They never wanted you strong. They never wanted you whole. They saw your spark, your fight, and they crushed it like it meant nothing. They smiled while you broke, pretended to care while secretly hoping you'd disappear. That's what people do when they're scared of what you might become. They don't nurture it. They try to kill it. So stop waiting for the world to hand you anything. It won't. It'll let you bleed, let you suffer, and then forget you ever existed. If you want a place in this world, you don't ask. You take. You build your throne from the pieces of everything they tried to destroy in you. You think they called you a monster out of hate? No, they called you that because they saw something in you they couldn't control. Monsters don't bow. They don't break. They don't beg. They endure. They rise. Every scar you carry, every insult, every time they told you you weren't enough, that's your fuel now. That's your power. So use it. Use the pain, the silence, the nights you spent alone wondering if any of this would ever be worth it. Because here's the truth, heroes die. They get forgotten, buried with noble intentions. But monsters live. They burn down the old world and build something new from the ashes. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them understanding. You owe yourself survival. So when you walk back down that mountain and they look at you like something's changed, don't say a word. Just look them in the eyes and let them feel what they created. Let them feel the storm that didn't kill you. Let them know you're not coming back for acceptance. You're coming back to claim what's yours. Yeah, you've changed. You're not the same person who started that climb, and that scares them.
You know why?
Because they liked you weak. Weakness is easy. It's quiet, obedient, controllable. But that version of you, the one who bowed their head and swallowed their fire just to keep the peace, that person is gone, buried beneath every step you took to get here. Now they look at you and they don't know what to do. The funny part is, they asked for this. They pushed and prodded, waiting to see how far they could bend you before you broke. They thought you'd fold, like they thought you'd fade into the background, another lost cause. But you didn't. You bled. You fought. You clawed your way up this mountain inch by inch, dragging your pain behind you like chains you refuse to carry anymore. And now you're standing at the top, looking down, and they can't handle it. You ever wonder why strength scares people? It's because real strength doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for applause. And now, that's what you have not. The illusion of power they wave around to keep people in line, but something real, something earned, and it burns them. It reminds them of everything they'll never become. But that's not your problem anymore. You didn't climb this mountain for them. You didn't suffer, break, rebuild, and rise for their comfort. You did it for you. And now you've got a choice. Walk back down there. Show them what you've become. Or keep climbing. Leave them in the dust. And never look back. Do they deserve to see this version of you, the one they tried so hard to destroy? Or do you show them what destruction really looks like? Tear down everything they thought they knew about you. Burn the image they built, and replace it with something they can't ignore. That's what it means to be a monster. It's not chaos. It's not cruelty for the sake of it. It's clarity, purpose. It's knowing who you are and refusing to be defined by anyone else's fear. They wanted control. They wanted you to break. But now they're standing face to face with something they don't understand, and nothing terrifies people more than the unknown. This world doesn't need more heroes. Heroes get crushed under the weight of expectations. They die trying to make things better for people who don't even remember their names. But monsters? Monsters live forever. They become legends. They haunt the stories people whisper when the lights go out. And now you've got the chance to become more than they ever imagined. Be careful what you wish for, right? They wanted to see what you'd become when you finally snapped well. Now they're going to find out. They thought they were building something they could tame, but you're free now. And that freedom, that's what makes you dangerous. You don't owe them anything. Not your kindness, not your forgiveness, not even your attention. You walk down there and you take what's yours. Rip it from their hands if you have to. And if they try to stand in your way, show them exactly how real monsters move. But understand this, being a monster isn't about rage without reason. It's not about mindless destruction. It's about precision, control, discipline. Monsters don't flail, they strike. They see the battlefield for what it is, and they play to win. Not fair, not nice, but necessary. And you're a survivor. Don't ever forget that. They tried to break you. And here you are, unbroken, unbowed, more powerful than ever. Now, it's time to stop waiting. Stop hoping. You take the life you were denied and make it yours. That cold in your chest, that's not weakness. That's your edge, your weapon. Use it. Wield it. Let them feel it when you pass. And no, don't wait for their respect. That fades. Let them fear you instead. Fear doesn't forget. Fear keeps them quiet, keeps them from trying again. You feel that. That's the monster. And monsters? Monsters don't flinch. Monsters move forward, unstoppable. You think you're relentless now. You're just getting started. You haven't even begun to understand what you've stepped into. You're standing here thinking this climb was just about survival, about proving something, but it's deeper than that, darker than that. You're not doing this for glory. You're doing it because something inside you snapped. You stopped believing in second chances, stopped hoping for mercy, because you realize the world doesn't offer that to people like you, the broken, the forgotten, the ones left for dead. They wanted a monster, didn't they? They spent their time poking and pushing, stripping you of hope, and when you finally broke, they called you the villain. That's the game they provoke, then play innocent when you unleash the storm they created. But here's the truth. They don't hate the monster. They hate that they can't control it. You stopped playing their game. You stopped being predictable, stopped letting them manipulate you, and that made you dangerous. So, look in the mirror. What do you see? Is that version of you still trying to fit in, to be accepted, to earn their approval? No, that version's dead. What's left is raw, real, untamed, and it doesn't apologize. Monsters owe nothing. They don't bend, they don't beg, and they sure as hell don't break for anyone else's comfort. You didn't just reach your limit, you became it. You became the line they can't cross, the force they can't measure, the truth they're too scared to face. People don't hate monsters for what they do. They hate them for what they reveal: honesty, power, freedom. And that's what you are now, a reflection of everything they're too weak to embrace. So, stand at that edge and decide. Crawl back down. Pretend to be one of them, or step forward into who you've truly become. You weren't made to fit their mold. You were forged in fire, in pain, in silence, in shadows. You didn't just survive, you evolved. And now, you carry your scars like armor, your wounds like medals, your past like a weapon. Let it all show. Let them see what they built when they tried to break you. Walk into their world and make them uncomfortable. Make them remember. When they ask why you changed, why you're not like them, you look them in the eye and tell them the truth, because you asked for this. You wanted to see what I had become when you pushed me too far. Well, this is it. But don't get it twisted. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about settling scores. That's too small for what you've become. Because monsters don't waste time getting even. Monsters rise. Payback. That's too small for you, because monsters look at the bigger picture. You're not here to hurt them. Not really. You're here to make sure they never forget that they couldn't break you, that no matter what they threw your way, you rose, you climbed, and you took what was yours. They thought they could bind you with rules, box you in with expectations, but you burned those chains to ash. You're beyond their limits now, beyond their small minds, their narrow views. You don't need their approval or their validation. You found your own strength, your own power, and that's all you'll ever need. You ever wonder why they told you to calm down, to play nice, to be reasonable? It's because they saw what you were capable of, and it terrified them. They saw that fire in your eyes, and knew that if you ever fully let it burn, they'd have no way to stop you. That's why they tried to cage you. But cages are for the weak, for those too scared to face the world as it truly is. You were never made for a cage. You were born to break them. So what now? You go back down that mountain, not just to survive, but to dominate. You take everything they said you couldn't have, become everything they swore you'd never be, and when they try to pull you down, you don't fight. You rise so far above them, they can't even touch you. And if they still want a monster, then give them one. Give them the kind of monster that doesn't bend, doesn't break, and never bows. You become the very thing they feared all along, and you never apologize for it. You think you know who you are now. This is just the beginning. You're standing at the edge of something greater than they could ever imagine, but to step into it, you have to let go of the last remnants of who you used to be. That hope you've held on to, that belief they might one day understand or change. Let it die. They won't change. They'll never accept you. And that's fine, you don't need them. You don't need anyone but yourself. They wanted a monster, so show them what unstoppable really looks like. Show them that the thing they tried to destroy has become more powerful than they ever dreamed. You become their nightmare, the force they can't control. And when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, you'll be standing at the top of the mountain ruling the world that tried to bury you, and knowing deep in your bones, you're not just surviving anymore. You're conquering.